What's up, crew? Welcome back to Libertalia Game Supply. Not too long ago, I received an interesting idea for a deck, and that was Superheavy Samurai Bujins. Now, building something like this means we're going to have to stray pretty far away from the way you would normally build a Bujin deck, because a normal Bujin deck is going to rely pretty heavily on spells in particular as ways to search your deck and extend your board. And while that does lead to the deck becoming a little bit more of a glass cannon because you're going to have to only rely on monster effects to get the deck running, it does replace that with a fairly consistent engine that can put a lot of bodies on board, build something pretty nice, and have the added bonus of making your play Nibiru-proof. Let's take a look at this. We'll start with the Superheavy Samurai engine here. We're going to play 3 copies of Wakaushi. It's your main Superheavy Samurai starter, as well as 3 copies of Motorbike. And while it is a secondary and it is just here to search the Wakaushi, I almost think it's better in this instance just because it gets a machine in your graveyard for Regulus without having to play around that. We also have the 1 Monk Warrior Big Benkai and the 1 Soul Gaia booster because they're necessary to make the play line happen. Moving into the Bujins, we've got triple Torifun because it's your main Bujin starter, the best Bujin card, and triple Mahitatsu as a secondary and far worse starter, but it does get you that free body on board if your hand is right. We're also playing 2 each of our Harume and our Arasuda as extenders that require a little bit of setup to become good. And then we're going to have the 1 Haruko in here for the rank up. The rank up is a little bit less important in this version of the deck, but it's still good, and so it's still worth playing. We're also going to play 1 each of our Bujingis Hare, Quillin, Turtle, and Sinew. I wanted the Sinew to be a crane here for old time's sake, but it really just didn't make sense, so we got to stick with the Sinew. These are going to allow us to interact with our opponent's board on our turn in the instance of Quillin, as well as providing protection in the form of Hare and Turtle, and some battle damage modification and Sinew. We're also playing the 1 Twin Saber to set up our Leo negates and the 1 Therian King Regulus for an Omni negate. For our hand traps, we're playing triple Valor and double Nibiru. These are just good hand traps that also can act as bridges for Small World, which we are still going to play in this version of the deck. On top of that, we're going to play double Ash and double Droll because we can't play Imperm, and although I prefer the Imperm, these will be suitable replacements. We're playing a pretty small spell lineup here. We're going to play triple Tenki because it searches the Torifun, and it has the added benefit of staying on the board after you activate it, so it wouldn't interfere with your super heavy samurai stuff. We're also playing 2 Small World for the same reason we're playing the Tenki. It does go to the graveyard, however, you can just do your super heavy samurai stuff first and then play the Small World, and it doesn't really change the combo at all, and really that's probably the better order to do it in anyway. And then finally we've got the 1 Double or Nothing because you need it for the Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray play, and you're never going to activate it, so it'll never go in your graveyard. In the extra deck, we're playing our standard Bujin stuff, the 1 Ahashima, the double Susanoo, the 1 Kagetsuchi, and the 1 Amaterasu. Just narrowed it down to the ones that are the most useful and most necessary. I also included IP and SP in this build because you have a way of generating a lot of extra bodies on the board that you don't necessarily have extra deck plays for, and these are just a great way to cover that. For our other rank 4s, we're playing the 1 Dugaris to help us dig for resources since we can't play a whole lot of draw in the form of spells. We're playing the 1 Merrymaker to make the 1 Sargus to search the 1 Regulus. And we're playing the 1 Utopia Double to make the Leo Utopia Ray to search the Twin Saber and set up double negates. And to round out our XC's lineup, we're playing 1 Zeus. This could kind of be a blank spot, maybe even play the Typhon instead in case you get stopped. But we really don't have any other board wipes in the extra deck, and so I think this fits in nice. And finally, we're playing the 1 Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon to make the 1 Burrow into Floor to make our board Nibiru-proof. Super easy to do, really good. And all of that added together leaves us with this wonderful masterpiece you're seeing on the screen here. Now let's take a look at a combo or 2. So if we're talking about combos here, that's basically going to mean that we have both of our starters in Torifun and Wakaushi. You're exploiting the 2 things that they both do well and both being able to put an additional body on board outside of themselves. And then because you can't play too many spells in this deck, a lot of it's going to be just managing the resources in your hand. And so just making decisions based on what kind of extenders you have and then adjusting your play from there. So for this first very basic one, we're just going to run through what both of them do. You're pretty much always going to start with the super heavy samurai stuff, especially if you need to like Small World into a Torifun or something. So we use that Wakaushi to put the Big Benkai on field. We use Big Benkai on the field in order to search our Soul Gaia booster. We'll use that Soul Gaia booster to equip itself to Wakaushi, put itself in the back row, and then summon itself out of the back row. And normally right here, if you were able to get a machine in the graveyard earlier, that mostly only being with Motorbike, you would go into your Sargus and your Regulus play, and then you would be free of Nibiru concerns, but we don't have that. So we're going to have to go into the Torifun right away with that normal summon and put our 2 bodies on board. So we'll go Mahitatsu, and we'll go Hare. We'll then use that Mahitatsu to set up the graveyard a little bit. We're not leaving a Bujin on the board in this version of the combo, but depending on what else is in your hand, you may end up leaving one, so we might as well keep doing the stuff that we do. Now on this first extra deck summon, you just need to make sure that you're going to be able to get a machine in the graveyard. So if you're Xyz summoning, it doesn't really matter what you use, but if you're going to link or synchro summon, you need to make sure you're using the Soul Gaia booster to do that in order to put the machine in the graveyard. Otherwise the Wakaushi will just go to the extra deck, and that doesn't help you any. So we'll go with Utopia Double. We'll detach one of the machines here. We'll grab Utopia, or we'll grab Double or Nothing, and we'll grab that Leo Utopia Ray. He's up to 5k, and then after his search and equip with Twin Saber, he'll be up to 6k, and 2 negates are now on the field. With these other 2 monsters, we're going to go into Merrymaker. We'll use the effect of Sargus to summon itself on top of Merrymaker, and then we'll use the effect of Sargus on the field to grab our Regulus. And then we'll use that Regulus effect in hand to summon itself and equip a machine to it. So now you have this Omni Negate live, a quick effect monster negate. It doesn't detach, so that kind of sucks for Sargus, but you do the best you can. And then we have this Pegasus Twin Saber negate, which cannot be chained to, so excellent negate there. 3 negates, decent enough, and hopefully the rest of your hand can let you extend a little bit further from there. So now for the second version of this combo, it's essentially the same hand in the Torifun and the Wakaushi, as well as any level 4 body, preferably a Bujin, so you can get into your Bujin extra deck monsters. In this instance, we're going to use the Motorbike. It's just so much better. It lets you shut off Nibiru and then continue on with your play. So we'll go Motorbike, grab the Wakaushi, we'll go Tenki, and we'll grab the Torifun. I know we're pretty much in the same spot we were last time, but it can be a little bit better. So we're going to go Wakaushi. We're going to use Wakaushi again. We'll grab that Big Benkai. Wakaushi on the board. Big Benkai is going to get that search for Soul Gaia booster. Soul Gaia booster, equip itself. Soul Gaia booster, summon itself. And then we're going to go into a synchro play here. So we've only gotten 2 summons so far. We'll synchro into Excel Stardust. And now you get 2 effects. We're going to use the summon off of Excel Stardust. That's summon number 3 is the Stardust. And then we're going to use this effect of Wakaushi to chain block that to make sure it goes through, because otherwise this is useless. We need to use it for Barone. If they were to negate this, you can make the exact same combo work. You're just going to use this empty slot to rank your Susanoo up into a Amaterasu rather than using it for the search for the extra body like we're going to, and the same play will happen. We're going to summon the Motorbike, and then for summon number 5, we're going to summon the Barone. And now you no longer have to worry about a Nibiru. We're going to Pendulum Summon here, meaning that you still have that normal summon available. So if you were to go into Dagaris at some point, you would be able to normal summon something that you drew to extend a little bit more, which is pretty nice. We're going to grab the Mahitatsu, and we're going to grab the Sinew. I picked Sinew for this one just because of how the board is going to end. This can be whichever one you want to have in the graveyard. So if you were going to go into like Ahashima or something, maybe this would be different. Whatever the case may be, you'll figure it out. We are not going to use this Mahitatsu effect because we actually want the Torifun effect in this instance. We're going to make ourselves a Susanoo, and we're going to use the 2 Beast Warriors to put that Susanoo on board. And then we're going to use this Torifun effect to equip itself to Susanoo, meaning that anything it destroys by battle gets banished. And if you were unaware, because you're not a fine Bujin connoisseur such as myself and my wonderful audience, Susanoo can attack every monster your opponent controls once each. With the Sinew in the graveyard, that would mean you could attack everything they control, Sinew over the big boys, and banish everything once it's back to your turn. At the very least, this is a big problem they have to worry about. They'll have to remove it at some point, and so you get a little bit of benefit there. We're going to use the Susanoo, detach whatever you want. It's going to get banished in a moment anyway, and we're going to grab the Harume, put that Harume in the hand. Then we're going to summon that Harume by banishing that Mahitatsu, and now we have another extra deck play available here. So you could either go into the Merrymaker, Sargus, and Regulus, meaning you would have the 2 Omni Negates, but nothing else other than this, which is more of just a threat for them having to pass it back to you. So I think what I'm going to do is double instead, because it'll give us that extra negate. So we're going to use double. We detach the Sinew here. We grab our Double or Nothing. We grab our Leo Utopia Ray, and then we use this Leo Utopia Ray in order to grab our Twin Saber from the deck. And so now you have 2 negates, Omni Negate, and then this guy that can attack over anything that they summon and banish it when it does so. Very solid board, and if you were to have extra monsters in your hand when that Pendulum Summon comes, you would be able to fill up these other slots easily. You could probably go IP, you could go Sargus and do a draw, get your extra normal summon and go and do an IP, something like that. But really cool, really fun deck to play around with. So that'll wrap this one up. Leave any comments, questions, or concerns down below. Subscribe if you want to see some more wild nonsense like this in the future. Happy deck building. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.